Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our class. Our topic for today is the relationship between the forensics and criminology. But to give you a brief background with our discussion last meeting, we have discussed criminology and law. So we know for a fact that criminology includes the study of the making of law. That's first. Second is the study of the breaking of law, the crime. Yan. And third is the reaction towards the breaking of law. So what happens after a crime had been committed? So there should be punishment. Diba? So yun, that is criminology. So which is broader, criminology or law? Of course, criminology, because it includes now the making of law. However, nowadays, the study of law or laws, your LLB, is at a much higher level. So pagka nag-graduate ka na ng gusto mo pang maging lawyer, pwede mong gawing yan. Pwede mong gawing preparatory course yung crim or political science. Tapos graduate, after that, mag-enroll ka sa LLB. After that, nag-graduate, makitake ng bar, abogado ka na. So, that's how you can do your career. And under that topic, we have discussed also that law is a form of social control. So, it is law which restricts person to commit crime. Yan. And the earliest punishment under the Code of Kalanchaw in 1433 includes death. So, death penalty as the capital punishment. It also includes mutilation of fingers, so pamumutol ng daliri, and flagellation. So what is flagellation? Again, ito yung, kumbaga torture kasi siya eh. Pamamalo. Yan, pamamalo, flagellation. It also includes your incineration. So when we say incineration, pagsunog, di ba? Pagsunog, punishment through burning. Yan. It also includes slavery. Yan. So as a form of penalty, the offender must do slavery. So magiging tauhan siya. Hard slavery, magiging tagabuhat. Yan. And last but not the least is being beaten by ants. So paano ito ginagawa? Tinatali yung kamay ng offender at saka yung paa ng offender, tapos saka siya ilalagay sa lugar na kung saan maraming langgam. So that's our earliest forms of penalty under your Code of Kalanchaw. So now we will be reading and discussing criminology, the relationship between criminology and forensic science from page 96 onwards. Yan, medyo mahaba-haba ito. So we need not discuss criminology because we have discussed that for the past 2 months now. So we will be dealing immediately with forensic science. So what is forensic science? According to my screen, forensic science is a hands-on science. So hands-on means to say mapapatrabaho yung kamay nyo, hands-on. Often engage in crime solving at the molecular level. While criminology is a more theoretical practice seeking to understand the cause of crime and the studying of criminal behavior in the context of societal impacts and responses. So yan, mas broader ang criminology. However, criminology is more on theoretical, mga theories, in understanding the causes of crimes and the possible effects of that crime to the society, while forensic science deals with the solution, hands-on solution of cases in relation to court proceeding. So yan, forensic science. So the word forensic on your page 96 of your book Introduction to Criminology, authored by Dr. Jester P. Eduardo and Dr. Marlon Wanke. So the word forensic comes from the Latin term forensis. So forensis, meaning of or before the forum. So of or before the forum means to say there must be a public trial. Kumbaga marami. Forum. When you say forum, discussion of groups of persons. So the history of the term originates from Roman times, during which a criminal charge meant presenting the case before a group of public individuals in the forum. Both the person accused of the crime and the accuser, or the victim, or the complainant, would give speeches based on their sides of the story. So there are always two sides of the story. The, the side of the complainant versus the side of the accused. A case would be decided in favor of the individual with the best argument and delivery. So the case will be judged based on the argument and delivery of either the side of the accused or the side of the victim. This origin is the source of two modern usages of the word forensic. So as a form of legal evidence and as a category of public presentation. Yan. So kung wala tayong mga eyewitness sa isang kaso, what we need is forensic evidence. Thus, we need forensic science to come up with forensic science as yes, to come up with forensic evidence to be presented at the court. Now, in modern use, the term forensics in the place of forensic science can be considered correct, as the term forensic is effectively a synonym for legal or related to court. So herein is your keywords. Whenever you use the word forensic, it must be for the purpose of your legal or court purposes. Yan. So, applicable to sa lahat ng forensic subjects nyo. From fingerprint, from forensic ballistics, polygraphy, question document, lahat yan. You only use the term forensic if the purpose is for legal and court presentation. Pero kung hindi siya for legal and court presentation, then ballistics lang. Ballistics lang. Kung wari, baril yung pinag-aaralan nyo. The effects of, or the firearms identification. You are resolving whether or not a particular bullet, a particular shell, or a particular bullet or shell was fired from a particular gun. Yun ang pinag-aaral nyo. Pero hindi siya related sa court purposes. So, ballistics lang. Pero kung related siya sa court proceedings, trial, then it shall be included the term forensic. So, forensic ballistics siya ngayon. Kaya nga forensics group ang tawag sa crime lab natin, di ba? Because they process the crime scene for what purposes? In relation to a case. And that case is for presentation to the court. Yan. So, whenever forensic group conducts evidence, it follows that they shall gather gather evidence properly and preserve that evidence for presentation during trial. So, yan. In modern use, the term forensic in the place of forensic science can be considered correct, as the term forensic is effectively a synonym for legal or related to courts. However, the term is now closely associated with the scientific field that many dictionaries include the meaning that equates the word forensics with forensic science. So, forensics is equated with forensic science. Origins of forensic science and early methods. So, the ancient world lacked standardized forensic practices which aided criminals in escaping punishment. So, tama to. Whenever there exists crime or a crime is committed, kahit na nahuli niyo yung perpetrator, but turned out na hindi kumpleto yung ebidensya natin, kulang yung ebidensya natin, hindi siya na-qualify to be a proof beyond reasonable doubt as the quantum of a criminal case, pwedeng makatakas yung perpetrator. Pwede siyang ma-acquit, yung mga yan. Pwedeng ma-dismiss yung kaso pinail natin against him. So, ganyan kay strict ang criminal justice system natin. Dapat proof beyond reasonable doubt. Dapat kumpleto yung ebidensya mo. Na yung ebidensyang i-present natin, dapat hindi mag-create ng maski isang doubt na siya talaga yung gumawa. Kasi kung merong doubt, kahit na isang doubt lang, naku po, delikado. Pwedeng ma-acquit yung kinasuhan natin, yung perpetrator o yung accused. Criminal investigations and trials heavily relied on forced confession and witness testimony. So ito talaga yung karamihang nangyayari sa proceeding. During trial, forced confession lang talaga and witness testimony yung nagiging basihan sa pag-judge sa isang kaso. Especially before na wala pang forensic science. However, ancient sources do contain several accounts of techniques that foreshadow concepts in forensic science that were developed centuries later. So the first written account of using medicine and entomology to solve criminal cases is attributed to the book of Si Yuan Lu, translated as Washing Away of Wrongs, written in China in 1248 by Song Si from 1186 to 1249, who was a director of justice, jail, and supervision during the Song dynasty. So, means to say, justice siya, judge, kumbaga, justice, pinakamataas kasi na quest during the Song dynasty. Song Si ruled regulation about autopsy report for court. How to protect the evidence in the examining process. The reason why workers must show examination to public impartiality. Yan, ni-require ni Song Si na lahat ng examination of evidence must be presented before public for impartiality. Na dapat when you say impartiality, walang kinakampihan. Open lahat sa public. Hindi nababayaran dapat ang justice kasi. He concluded methods on how to make antiseptic, and to reappear the hidden injury from dead bodies and bones using sunlight under red oil umbrella and vinegar. So maraming mga cases noon na na-injured yung isang tao tapos ang pinapalabas accidental, mga ganyan, or natural cause of death. So para ma-uncover natin whether or not the victim was really dead naturally, namatay bang naturally o hindi, they use sunlight under red oil umbrella, and vinegar. So doon nila makikita kung mayroon bang hidden na bruises, mayroon ba siya mga hidden tinagong injuries, mayroon bang tinagong injuries sa katawan ng biktima. How to calculate the death time? So, how to calculate death time? This is under your forensic medicine. So, malalaman ba natin based on the description or description of the body, yung time of death niya? Oo, diba? Meron tayong sinasabing stiffening of the body which occurs 3 to 6 hours after death. Meron rin siyang susunod yung lividity, and meron din siyang yung softening. So, manlalambot yung katawan. How to wash dead body for examining the different reasons of death. At that time, the book had given methods to distinguish suicide or pretending suicide. Yan. So, nakalagay doon sa book rin ni Songsi, entitled Si Yuan Lu, or in English, Washing Away of Wrongs. Nakalagay rin doon yung mga description on how to determine whether a particular death of a person was caused by suicide or was caused by murder but was hidden, but was made appear to be suicide. So makikita natin doon sa book na ginawa niya. Methods from around the world involve saliva and examination of the mouth and tongue to determine innocence or guilt as a precursor to the polygraph test. In ancient India, yan. So, before, wala nga tayong polygraph test noon, di ba? So, ang ginagamit nila noon is the study of your mouth and tongue to determine innocence or guilt. To determine whether or not a person was lying or not, ang pinag-aaralan noon is yung saliva and yung mouth. Yan. In ancient India, some suspects were made to fill their mouths with dried rice and spit it back out. So similarly, in ancient China, those accused of crime will have rice powder placed in their mouths. Yan. Prior polygraphy, ang ibang kinoconsider is yung sweating, di ba? So pagka tinanong yung tao, tapos biglang dumami yung sweat niya, oh, it's possible that he is lying. Oh, sorry. Other is yung direksyon ng mata, hindi makatingin sa'yo ng diretso yung sinungaling, di ba? Pagka tinanong mo, tapos biglang iwas yung tinitingnan ng mata niya, ay, there's a possibility that this person is lying. So yun, di ba? Tapos pagka, yung iba naman, pagka tinanong mo, biglang nervyos, biglang kinabahan, hindi na makapagsalita. So, yan, yung mga isang signs na nagsisinungaling siya. Kaya biglang namumula yung muka. Diba? Those were the basis in determining whether a person was telling the truth or was lying. Or was lying. So, development of forensic science. Ambrose Paier's surgical work laid the groundwork for the development of forensic techniques in the following centuries. So in 16th century Europe, medical practitioners in army and university setting began to gather information on the cause and manner of death. So pinag-aralan ng Europe yung cause and manner of death. So pina-classify nila nun kung accidental ba or natural cause, and kung accident or kung intended. And kung intended yan, asaan yung mga wounds niya? Anong klase yung nung mga wounds? Or is it caused by poisoning? Yan. So, Ambroise Paré, a French army surgeon, systematically studied the effects of violent death on internal organs. So, malalaman natin kung cause ng violent death, yung pagkamatay ng isang tao, based on studying the internal organs. So, autopsy na to, di ba? Hindi siya post-mortem examination lang. When we say post-mortem examination, it is the study of the external parts of the cadaver, di ba? So, dinodrawing nga dyan yung mga entrance wound, mga exit wounds ng biktima, kung ilan bang saksak, ilan bang wounds ang meron siya, o kung wala ba siyang wounds. So, kung wala siyang wounds, pwedeng poisoning naman yan, di ba? So, internal organs talaga ang ni-study pagka ganyan. So, pagka internal parts na ng body ang ni-study, autopsy ang examination na kinakanda. So, two Italian surgeons, Fortunato Fedelis and Paolo Zacchia. So, take note of these persons, two Italian surgeons, Fortunato Fedelis and Paolo Zacchia, laid the foundation of modern pathology. So, ano ang tawag sa persons conducting autopsy? They are called pathologists. Yan. By studying changes that occurred in the structure of body as a result of disease. So, the study of the difference between a living body and a dead body. So, merong differences yung mga yan. In the late 18th century, writings on those topics began to appear. These included a treatise on forensic medicine and public health by the French physician Francois Emmanuel Podere, and Complete System of Police Medicine by German medical expert Johann Peter Frank. Yan. German medical expert Johann Peter Frank. So, ang ginawa niya is the Complete System of Police Medicine. So, Police Medicine naman ang tawag ni Johann Peter Frank doon. Tapos, Forensic Medicine naman kay Francois Emmanuel Podere. As the rational values of the Enlightenment era increasingly permeated society in 18th century, criminal investigation became a more evidence-based, rational procedure. So it started in the 18th century. So when we say 18th century, mga 1900s na to, mga 1900 years na to. So what century are we in? We are in the 21st century. Nasa 21st century tayo. So, hindi pala. Tama. When we say 18th century, 1700s pala. 1700s na taon itong mga to. 1760s, 1780s, 1790s. Kasi parang tayo, di ba? We are in the 21st century. Ang taon ngayon is 2022. Yeah? So, 21st century. Yan. So, as early as the 18th century or 1700 years, criminal investigation now became evidence-based. So, hindi na siya nagre-rely na lang sa statement of the witnesses. Diba? So, noong araw, statement of the witnesses ang basehan. So, kung walang witness, walang kaso. So, as early as, 18th century, nagkaroon na ng evidence-based criminal investigation, where rational procedure was considered. The use of torture to force confessions was curtailed, and belief in witchcraft and other powers of the occult largely ceased to influence the court's decision. So, gone are the days na yung decision ng court is affected by torture. Siyempre, di ba? So, pagka torture nyo yung suspect, kahit na hindi niya kasalanan, napapaamin. O kaya, pagka walang witness, walang magsasalita, walang kaso. Tapos, mayroon pang mga witchcraft noon na nakaka-affect sa decision ng judges. Pero gone are the days at 18th century. So, wala nang ganun noong 18th century. Let's have 5 minutes break.